I think it would be helpful if you maybe gave us a little bit of your own history. In other words, your story. And that's how you came to understand this. Or is this just something you've always been, in touch with?
Yeah. Well, Dave, I don't know.
It was pretty much on the first interview that we initially did when we were sitting here. But, just for Wes, why don't you just give him a short point by point little bit that how you got here.
Right. I mean, I remember certain instances when I was a kid,
Mm-hmm.
and one of the big things that happened for me also that got me, I think that I've always been drawn to being a medium, was losing my father at 12 years of age.
Mm-hmm.
And then coming up here, after getting out of the military and meeting a gentleman by the name of Bill Smith, a really wonderful guy, he has since passed, and sitting down and him doing a reading for me and getting in touch with my dad, and I was just like, I was already drawn to it, I feel like forever, and then get to actually sit down with someone who was genuine and have him do a reading for me and get in touch with my dad with things that there's no way he could have known. I was just amazed. I'm like, how wonderful would that have been to have had that sooner in my life and have somebody available for that. And then I didn't do anything with it. Even though Bill Smith got frustrated with him, he says, you need to start doing this for other people. I was too scared. I was scared of myself, and failing and different things. And that's what these people are coming to me about.
Right.
They haven't been given much self-worth through family or society or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then after so many years, I finally had some really great support from several people, and I finally just opened myself up to the public.
Mm-hmm.
And started doing readings. So, kind of, the short version, that's kind of how I came to it. But it's always been there, and I've known it. I've always known it. But for me, it's always just been like, well, I'm not one of those big popular people over there. And come to find out, I can do a reading just as well as they can. It's just, you never see the true self unless you read about them or they talk about it.
Christian, what I've picked up on my travels is a lot of people have all these capabilities within them, and they want to develop, let's say, the spiritual psychic capability. What is the tipping point that usually pushes people to get to that? I mean, like in your case, what was the particular instance that really pushed you to go to the next stage?
I tell you what really pushed me was really my last career choice. Was as a federal police officer. How it was, I was not allowed to help people. I was not allowed to be compassionate. And after 3.5 years of it, it became very clear, this is not who I am at all. It's just not it. And so it made me stop and sit down and evaluate myself and looking at all my past jobs and everything that's the way that went, how I was disgruntled with every single one of them. Or I was happy in the beginning and then something changed and I just felt myself getting pushed out. Energy-wise, I just didn't, I didn't belong. And I finally had it, so I was frustrated. And with the help of my wife, it was like, what is it you truly want to be doing? If you could just go and do it, no concerns about the world, about finances, anything, what would you be doing? I'd be doing readings for people.
Here we are.
Here we are.
So
Really.
in the case of the girl, you just mentioned a person that came up from Missoula and stuff like that. What was her tipping point? Were you able to discern that?
I think her tipping point is her life at this current moment, at this time. The frustration of, once again, she knows she's not doing what she truly wants to be doing in her heart. And she wants to be able to talk to somebody who's already made the choice to do what's in their heart.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, her personal life, her work life, everything.
So frustration seems to be the common link.
I want to say yes, it is. The frustration with, I don't feel like I'm right in the world at this moment in time. What is right in the world for you? You have to help promote them to physically say it, because when somebody asked me, a very dear friend, she said, so what would you call yourself? The words went through my mind, lightning speed. But I found myself too scared to actually physically say it. And that shocked me, that blew my mind. So I had to look at that and say, well, what am I so scared of saying it for?
Right.
Because that means I really am aware and I do know what I truly want to do. and now I'm responsible for it. I'm responsible whether I do it or I don't. And so frustration is the key. Everybody's feeling a sense of, I really don't fit in with the way society is right now. But some of it is because they're supposed to be doing something with their psychic self for themselves and for others. Some is environment. Some is like Cherby, helping people find where they're supposed to be functioning in their heart. All these different modalities, and they're not doing it. They're trying to do the daily grind, go to work, 9 to 5, get a paycheck. But the energy at their job is awful.
Mhm.
It's not who they truly are, but yet they keep forcing themselves through it. I'm finding people, that frustration limit is getting shorter. They don't want to tolerate it anymore.
Well, it's probably the next time there's a major crisis that comes along, whether the economy takes a dip or their individual situation deteriorates, relationship-wise, job-wise, whatever, you know, and then that causes them the frustration that causes
Sure.
them to go to the tipping point in some direction.
Sure.
Or sometimes it's just an outright spark.
It is.
Just
But sometimes the spark is their frustration. They realize very quickly, I don't want this anymore. What do I truly want? And people are coming to that,
You know,
you know. So, and I think that's what's happening is I'm seeing this shift. I've got this energy in me. I really don't know what to do about it, but it doesn't fit in over here. Not with my life. I mean, I really think it's who I truly am. So now they have to start asking themselves, well, then is your life who you truly are? And most of the time the answer is no, it's not.
so how have you felt that you've internally changed since you've taken this new path? I mean, focused on this new path,
Internally, I'm more relaxed.
okay?
I'm not freaking out. I'm not going, oh my God, I'm not going to make my rent. I'm not having to deal with other energies of other people's in a workplace that I don't belong. Bosses, things like that, you know. I've taken more control over my life, internally and externally. If I don't feel someone's conducive to my energy, I'm not mean about it or anything. I don't say, well, I don't want you around. I just shift through life now and surround myself with those who are conducive to my way of being. And I think that's what we're supposed to be doing.
Right.
You know, we allow ourselves to suffer by having people around us because we think we're obligated to, because we think we have to, because we think we have to fulfill an expectation for them. So for me, that was something I let go of. And it, like I said, the really neat thing about doing readings for people is it also helps them look at me. People ask questions that I never thought about, and then to hear what Spirit's response is affects me as much as it does the client.
Mm.
And I'm like, really? So it helps me to be more open to information that I would have thought to have asked for.
Right.
I hear a theme of trust.
Yes.
A very deep sense of trust in yourself. It's not more, I would say it's not about control. It's more
No.
about trust. Because the more I trust and release, you know, easier
Right.
things get and
Yeah.
things happen. And, you know, instead of, you know, worrying or wanting to control the situation.
Most
I just-
definitely. And that wasn't easy to come
You
by.
well, it takes action.
By my own choice. It does take action.
But you just, you know, put it in
Right.
motion and trust that
Right.
you can fulfill the commitment you make.
Yes. And the more you trust and the more you do it and do it and do it, the easier and easier it becomes. You know, and then before you know it, it's just a part of your life. And people around you who are not used to that don't understand how you can do it. They don't. And then you just say, well, then you just start it. Just start with something small. Just start with something simple and see what you, just try the law of attraction on a small way. That's a great way to start trusting Spirit and synchronicity. You know, so one of the things they tell you to do is start by just saying, you know what? I'd like to, you know, just have a cup of coffee come my way. And just leave it at that. Don't try to figure out how for it to come your way. Just leave it at that and see what happens. Because if you get it or not, what does it matter? Who cares? But people will be surprised at how all of a sudden someone's like, hey, man, you want a cup of coffee? Yeah. It can just be that easy. Seriously. But it starts building trust on a very simplistic, easy to accept level. Don't try to start with something massive and big.
So
Don't.
you want to go out for coffee afterwards?
Sure.
All right. On that note, Wes, do you have anything else left or anything?
No, that's, thank you for, some deep insights.
Oh,
that I
no. Oh, yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for allowing me to be here to answer questions.
Christian, thank you very much, and thanks, Wes. And we'll put this up on the conversations with the community and stuff in that area and stuff like that, and then back to your profile. And the books that Christian mentioned, I'll make sure that the people get them up on the profile section so they can look at them if they want to. And Christian's contact information is in there, so just give him a call. But thank you very much for your time, and thanks, Wes.